Hey, lovelies. How is everybody today? Uh-oh, I've got music playing in my ear over there. I hope everybody is having a great day. I'm trying to figure out why it just gave me the strangest message when I logged in, but that's okay. Um, guys, hold on. It is giving me technical difficulties now. I do not know what's happened. Anyway, if you know, I am Terry True Crime. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I know this channel has been a busy little channel today. If you've been watching our channel, there is a lot of stuff going on this channel. But before we go any further, I would like to tell you guys I have a very exciting announcement tonight. And to be honest, it's time to uncork the truth. And no, I'm not pregnant. I am thrilled to announce that our brilliant behind the scenes brain, the one and only Llama, is officially stepping out of the producer's chair and into the spotlight as my new co host for True Crime and Wine Time. So, very excited. Now, guys, listen, replacing JT was no easy feat. He has been a beloved part of this twisted, crazy little show and a very dear friend, and we will always raise a glass to him and his unpredictable wine choices and amount of wine, okay? But guys, it is time for a new era, and honey, let me tell you, it's powered by girl power, sarcasm, and lots of wine. And guys, Llama has been the secret sauce behind the scenes, producing, organizing, and occasionally rescuing me from tech meltdowns. Okay, probably more than occasionally. And now she's bringing her sharp wit, storytelling savvy, and no nonsense vibes to the show. And guys, this is the dynamic duo you didn't know you needed. One part true crime, one part feminist fire, shaken with sarcasm and served with a generous pour. And we're going to be turning up the volume, the vibes, and the estrogen. And trust me, it's going to be a murderously, hilariously good time. So, guys, if we could all grab our glass, let's raise a toast to girl power and get ready for the boldest season yet of true crime and wine time. Welcome to the stage, Llama.
It's me. It's me. Hello. Hello. I'm gonna take that picture of me away. That's something. That's a picture indeed. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. That was an introduction.
It
That was,
well, I
how
mean,
do I live up to that hype, Terry? Oh my
did
goodness.
you I mean, I always kinda had in my back of my mind that you would wind up on camera, but I'll never forget back to like, "Hey, I will help behind the scenes. I don't wanna be on camera, don't wanna do that." Then you started helping with Hey Ho on camera. You slowly started dipping your toes, and then you started couch court with Llama, and now here you are.
And here I am. This is my fourth show of the day.
I know. As I
This is my
said,
crazy day.
when I hit go live, it said, "You're going live too often," and I was like, "How dare you say that to me?"
How dare you? We're just giving the people what they want.
That's right. I
Well, thank
am
you so much.
very
It's an honor to become your new co-host for True Crime and Wine Time. Thank you so much for inviting me into this part of the world. I love that.
I know, and I love your background. It's very
Thank you.
wine driven,
I do
and
love my backgrounds.
I think it's gonna be hilarious sometimes on our shows, especially if you start with your midday Moscato for your trials, and then we have this. I mean, and then you put our sassiness, our snarkiness.
It's going to be a good time. I don't think you're going to leave bored. That's for sure.
I should say, I don't think. In fact, guys, right now is a good time to go and like this video, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell, because that way you'll know when we go live.
Yes. Do all the YouTubey things for us. Yeah. And
Do
share on
all
your
of
social media that we're
Yeah,
live right now. And this is where the party is.
yes, and also, if you're listening to this on the podcast app, please also go and rate the podcast and give us, I hope, a 5-star review, but I don't wanna tell you how to rate us, okay? I don't wanna tell you what to do. If you're gonna give us a 1 star, just don't. Just just don't. That's just like the person who made the comment on your couch court video that they thought we were rude or that you were rude. And I was like,
I mean, I'm
"Excuse
not for
me.
everybody. It's
It's an
fine.
opinion, and it's kinda like assholes. Everybody has one,
That's true. That's
and they're
true.
necessary." So,
Well,
welcome to the True Crime and Wine Time team
thank you.
on
I'm so
camera.
excited. I'm so excited about this new venture. And you know what I'm really excited about?
What?
Our live show in July.
I know, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I
Why
can't
don't you
wait.
tell everybody about it?
So we are going to be at the 7 blend of
Mm,
7 winery. Do you know why they're a blend of 7?
why? I don't.
They are a mixed family. Husband couple got married, they each had kids and then their own kids, so it's a blend of 7, their family.
I love it.
So they're a
Like the Brady
blended
Bunch.
family. And
I love
so
that.
I love that. But we're gonna be there July 19th. And tickets are on sale right now. They start at $7.50. You will get to see us live in person. It is an intimate little setting. It's like 40 people, I think. And we are going to be covering the Joey LaBute. Did I say it right?
Yes.
Case.
Yes.
And then we're also going to be covering the Andy Chapman missing person case at the beginning. But you will get to sit with us, have drinks with us, get to, we like to meet people, and I
Mhm.
can tell you I had so much fun doing the Austin one, and getting to meet some of our internet besties is always fun.
Is it weird that I'm so nervous about this in person show, even though I've been streaming to like thousands of people every
Well,
day? But in
no,
person, I'm like, oh
in person, because, like, on camera, they only see us from the waist up. When we're on the stage, we have to think about where our legs are, keeping our legs shut. Can they see chords? Is there spinning? They have all
no.
of that to see.
I'm very excited to meet everyone.
Good.
Tickets are going fast. It's a small venue. So follow that link, book your tickets today. And you know what, guys? If you can't come to Ohio, that's a shame because Ohio is magical, despite what people say on the
They
internet.
have crack raccoons.
That's true. That's true. But there's a lot of great stuff about
Can I
Ohio.
ask one favor?
Sure.
Can you guarantee me and put it in writing that a car will not drive into the building while we're doing our live show?
I can't promise that, but we are the county above the county I live in. So
Okay.
maybe they have a better track record than the one I live in. But if you can't make it to Ohio, that's okay. Become a member of our YouTube channel, right? So you become a member. There's a tier there as well. You get to use fun emojis in the chat. You'll get to use special commands here soon. You get access to our members only, which next week we're starting weekly on Wednesdays. I'm super excited about that. And we're going to be streaming all of our live in-person events exclusively just for our members. So it's okay if you can't come to Ohio. Become a member instead.
Now, I think we might need to change our members only to TMI because we give way too much information about ourselves.
That's true. That's true. It's only going to get better. It's only going to get better, guys.
It is. Well, guys, tonight I wasn't going to drink. I was going to stick to sparkling water, but I couldn't toast you llama with sparkling water.
It's a
That is why
celebration.
I had to go ahead and mix some wine with some pain pills. So we'll see how tonight goes.
Fun.
But
I love this for our first official show together. Love
I
it.
know. So I am drinking a 1999 Domaine Carnis Brut Rosé, and the
Ooh.
tasting notes say, on the nose, the 1999 rosé welcomes the senses with aromas of wild raspberries and strawberries, fresh cut watermelon, peaches, and a subtle oral hint of orange blossom and rose petal.
It sounds delicious.
The sophisticated and dry palette displays supple layered flares of nectarine, raspberry, and ginger. And it says it was augmented by exceptional weather conditions during the 1999 growing season and harvest. And says this wine showcases energy, depth, and complexity, just like Terry.
I mean, yeah. I love that.
What are you drinking?
Oh, what am I drinking? Oh, I went grocery shopping Sunday, and I took pictures of all the bottles of wine. So that way for the future episodes, I could like pair my wine with the show, and I could be
Oh.
like elbow feet, get this one that I have the picture of, this one right here, because he needs
Now,
that.
we should probably tell people who Elbow Feet is in case they don't watch Couch Court or not on our
It's true.
Discord. They're probably going, who is this
Who?
Elbow Feet person?
Elbow Feet is my paramour. We've been together for 13 years. He's very active in chats as much as he can be and super supportive. He is fabulous and very funny. And if you come in Ohio, you'll get to meet him too. I'm almost wondering if he's becoming more popular than I am.
Never.
I think he might be. Yeah, he has more energy.
I'm thinking we need to find a karaoke place because I need him to sing for us.
He'll just sing listen, at the Airbnb, he'll just sing. He'll sing whatever he was singing the other day. Anyway, I digress. So I was at the grocery store. Who is Elbow Feet? He is. He's wonderful. Anyway, so this didn't pair it with the case we have today because I saw the label and I was like, ooh, I want that one first. Okay, so I'm drinking Sheep Thrills. You probably can't see it because my green screen. But it's called Sheep Thrills, and there's pictures of sheep with parachutes attached to them. And I love a good pun more than anything. Do I love puns? And so it's a Pinot Grigio from Italy. Oh, fancy. And the back of the bottle, it says, for centuries, vintners in the pasture lands of Italy have protected their grapes from wandering sheep who love to snack on them. I love snacks too.
I do too.
Lucky for us, the vintners prevailed, and today we can enjoy Sheep Thrills Pinot Grigio, a delightful, medium-bodied white wine with delicate floral aromas, fresh fruit flavors, and a crisp, elegant finish. Delicious on its own or paired with grilled shrimp. It was made for me. Everybody knows how much I love shrimp.
Let's say that is you.
Sushi, no thank you. Salads, okay. And light vegetarian fare. Oh, look, it's for everybody. Enjoy, chilled. And so that's what I've got for today. It was very dramatic. I'm sorry.
No.
I'm a little dramatic.
That's why, we've got dramatic and extra. Is this not going to be great, guys?
I think so.
I love that. And I'm going to need you to send me a picture of the label so I can go and check it out.
Well, dude, it's quite delicious. I just poured me a glass of it. It's a little dry, but I love it. There's my mom. My mom was calling me. My mom was calling me back because I saw I missed a call from her. And so I tried to call her before we went on. She didn't answer. And I was like, I know she's going to call me back as soon as I go live. And she did. And I was like, hey, I'm live.
Hey, I have to tell you, I am so excited to meet Mama Llama and Elbow Feet in person. Plus, our AP is going to be in Ohio. MS
That's right.
Is going
Producer
to be.
Amos.
Now, do have another announcement, but I may wait to give it.
Okay.
Or maybe not.
You know what? Let's save it for the end. It'll keep people in suspense for the show.
If you want to know something very exciting, you have to stick around.
Yes. Stick around for the end for whatever secrets Terry has that I don't know.
Let's get into.
All right. You guys, this episode is called Wine, Wealth, and Murder, the Robert Dahl horror. And buckle up, you guys, because it's going to be a bumpy ride. Okay. So I want to start off this story with a quote from tech entrepreneur and wine writer Lou Purdue. Yes, that is his name. And I am obsessed with saying it. Lou Purdue, Lou Purdue. I was singing it when I was writing this, by the way. But what he said in an interview about this case really highlights what we're going to be talking about tonight. And it goes like this, quote, the money makes people crazy. Money is intoxicating. And when you mix money and wine, I think you get intoxicated to the second or third power, end quote. And tonight, we're going to talk about what happens when that intoxication, that greed, and the house of cards that was built on top of it comes tumbling down and leads to murder. Ooh, it's going to be something, you guys. I don't know if you're ready.
Yeah, I don't know if you're ready because Napa is the second happiest place on earth. You've got Disney World and you've got Napa. So, oh, Napa Valley. I mean, come on. It's the land of vineyards, soft jazz, and people who think a charcuterie board is a personality trait. That would be me. And I didn't say charcuterie board. I said charcuterie board.
Okay.
Okay. Now,
charcuterie.
have you not seen that?
Charcuterie? No, I haven't. You can.
So if my bestie pops in the chat, Cheryl, she gave me a charcuterie board, but it says, I can't say this, so it's shark coochie, and it's got a picture of a shark.
I love it. I'll make
Very
you one
cute.
when you get to Ohio.
Yeah. So Napa Valley is a region where the wine is dry, but the scandals, guys, are very, very juicy. And walking straight into that fermented fantasy was a man named Robert Dahl. Thank you, Double H. Now, Double H was just a wonderful husband. I actually have a vine.
What is this?
It is actually from a vineyard. It is a vine that the grapes normally grow on.
That is very cool. I didn't know there was going to be props.
So I
and turn it into a walking stick?
No, it's going to go in my new podcast studio. It's going to be on the wall.
Ooh, I love that.
There's Mr. Robert Dahl. Now, guys, don't like him. Just going to say, don't like him. Okay.
It kind of looks like my best friend's ex. I'm going to tell her all about it later.
Now, Robert Dahl was a man who radiated charm, ambition, and just enough confidence to make people believe him, at least at first. So it's kind of like a car salesman, right? Now, he was a Minnesota transplant with a checkered past. And guys, he reinvented himself in Napa Valley as a bold entrepreneur, launching wine and beer ventures with flash, flair, and some questionable financial foundations. Guys, he was a smooth talker with a taste for the spotlight, but behind the glossy labels and vineyard views was a pattern of broken promises, failed businesses, and a trail of betrayed investors. To some, he was a visionary. To others, he was a con man. To me, he was a narcissist asshat. Okay?
Sure.
But in the end, Robert Dahl's carefully crafted image collapsed under the weight of his own deception. Guys, he didn't leave behind a legacy, but he left behind a cautionary tale and also traumatized thousands of grapes. Okay? Thousands of grapes.
Think of the grapes, Robert. Think of the grapes.
I mean,
imagine stressed grapes don't make good wine. I don't know.
It doesn't. Stressed grapes doesn't. No. They need to be. Yeah, but Robert wasn't always swirling Pinot and talking about Terrier. Nope. In 22, Robert Dahl was living the American dream in Minnesota. How'd I do with that? Minnesota?
Minnesota. I don't know.
Sorry, Amanda, Lucy. So he was in his early 40s. He had a beautiful wife and 3 children. So he was an entrepreneur and, in his views, a successful businessman who had just sold his company Duraban International. Guys, they made antimicrobial cleaners to fight mold in construction products. And
Mm,
according to him, his company was purchased for $12 million.
crazy.
$12 million. Okay.
Nobody buys any of my ideas for millions of dollars.
I I have so many ideas. But he said he received only 500,000 after the buyer filed for bankruptcy.
Well, that's a significant difference, but okay.
Well, also, the product didn't work. Little insight there.
Spoilers. Spoilers.
Hi, Juju Bean from Kentucky. You're about to find out what Robert did. He
What Robert did
traumatized
is not good.
a lot of grapes, and he killed people.
Mm.
But this did not stop Robert from pursuing his next entrepreneur dream. He took that money, uprooted his family, and moved to California, where he was determined to own his own vineyard in the exclusive Napa Valley. But guys, I have to be honest. I don't know about you. How in the hell do you transition from mold products to making Merlot? Okay, so I'm going to just say, I'm going to need a little more than a LinkedIn update on his profile to feel secure before I believe him.
That's fair. Well, I mean, if we've learned anything from the Karen Reed trial, is that you can put anything you want on your LinkedIn and the company Aperture won't check and will hire you. Oh boy. Sorry, there's probably going to be some Karen Reed references in here. If you haven't watched it, check out my show, Couch Court with Llama. We're live every day for that. Anyway, but back to this story while we're here tonight. That is gorgeous.
It is.
I've never been to California, and that is gorgeous. Anyway, so
we need to do live shows there.
Agreed. So the Napa Valley has a certain allure that attracts all sorts of dreamers, from Silicon Valley tycoons to Wall Street bros to rock stars and movie stars. Everyone wants their hands on a piece of that beautiful pie. I mean, who doesn't? That's amazing and beautiful. However, one simply does not just come into town and try to start a wine business. Oh, no, no, no. It's very tough to break into the scene unless you're coming in with a buttload of cash. But the cash will only take you so far because you must also be extremely, extremely trustworthy, as doing business in wine country is often very, very personal. It is exclusive. Good luck. But you know what? That didn't deter Robert. No, no, no. He showed up in Napa with his wife, his kids, and just enough swagger to con a region filled with sommeliers and startups. Okay. He bought a $1.4 million home. He was ambitious, charismatic, and many called him a fantastic salesman. Look at that house.
I have to stop you. That is not a $1.4 million home in Napa unless he financed only the interest. So I had to give that a goog.
Yes.
Guys, that means Google, because California is so expensive. I did a screen thing with just this picture. I think it's called Google Lens. It said this house would be worth 16 million unless you financed only the interest.
Interesting.
Wow. I found that interesting because I didn't know you could do a mortgage just for interest.
I didn't either. Okay, that doesn't sound like a good idea.
Because I was like, I would move to Napa again. I would move back to California if I could actually get that for $1 million.
That's crazy. But thank you for sharing that with us, Terry.
That's my dream house.
That's nice. So Robert was so good that over the next 5 years that he was in California, he was able to convince friends and even some celebrities, yeah, that's right, to invest millions of dollars into numerous wine and beer ventures. So after moving to the Napa Valley, Robert's first venture was launching a company called California Shiners with Phil Lutkin. When I see Shiners, I think of Shriners. Sorry, we have them here. I don't know if everybody has this.
I think a Shinerbach, which is a beer in Texas.
Oh, okay. Well, so he would buy and sell grapes in bottled, no name wine, making what they call shiners. He would then sell those bottles to customers who added their own labels to them. This was all considered like the lower end of the wine business.
Now,
Okay.
I'm going to
Mhm.
stop you right there and just
Sure.
say it is considered the lower end because you don't get to mix and make it your own flavor.
Mm.
But I can't wait till the day that True Crime and Wine Time gets big enough that we can sell wine with our own label.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, the Wine and Crime girls do it, but they actually blended their own, where this is already blended. You just get to
Oh.
slap a label on it. So, like, if you're getting married, you
Mhm.
could order 5 cases and they would put a label on for your wedding.
Oh, okay. I understand this
So
more now.
we
Okay.
it is the lower tier just because you're not putting the name brand on it, but it's not bad wine.
Okay. The more you
Just
know with
needed to
Terry
clarify.
and wine. She's the queen of wine, so she has obviously a lot of insight into this. I mean that as a compliment. So
Sure you
by
did.
2011, though, Robert was ready to take his next big steps towards making his wine business dreams come true. Then his path crossed with someone at one time considered the quote, prince of the wine country, Dominic Fopoli. If you guys, so our lovely staff member Cap'n does the slideshows, and I wish you guys knew what she labeled each of the pictures of because they're so good with no
They
spoilers. Well, okay, she labeled this one Fopoli bachelor looking ass.
now, I will tell you, he was known to they're not joking when they said Prince of Wine Country. He was considered to be an eligible bachelor.
Wow, interesting. Okay. Well, anyway, now Dominic was fairly young and didn't have his own personal vineyard yet, but he had met some people from Asia who were getting into importing some California wine. Because he didn't have his own facility, he couldn't package the wine fast enough to fulfill the orders. And what must have been seen as a sign is when he met Robert Dahl. Quote, and so I met Robert. He was very new to this, but he was willing to work really, really hard. And he had genuineness that he could project that made you want to trust him, made you want to like him, end quote. Over the next year or so, Dominic and Robert would often go out to dinner and hang out and soon became very close friends. Dominic said, as a friend, he was always there. I could text him at 11 o'clock at night and he'd get back to me.
Do you think they had friendship bracelets?
If not, everybody should have friendship bracelets. That's a Karen Reed joke. Oh my gosh, everybody there. Brennan gets upset if he doesn't have a friendship bracelet. Anyway, then one day, Robert made him a business proposition. What if together they buy their own vineyard? So, after going to look at some property together, Dominic agreed with him. He staked everything he had on this new partnership, even his own house. Quote, so I say, this is something I'm going to do, and I have to go all in. And I need you to be all in too. And he, Robert, said, I got you. And you guys, Dominic had no reason to doubt that Robert was doing tremendously well or that there would be any problems. He thought this was going to be a solid deal. Well, not long after they closed on the vineyard deal, yes, thank you, Juju, babe. We'll get there. We'll get there, girl. Robert was already looking for bigger and better opportunities. It seemed that sharing ownership of a vineyard wasn't good enough. No, 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 no. He wanted to be the boss. And in order to do that, Robert needed new partners. And then he found the investor he was looking for, one who came with a gym bag full of cash. Oh,
Now, guys, I wish someone would give me a duffel bag of money so that I could buy a vineyard because I don't have enough. Yeah, I need that. Juju bean, it is like serious wealth.
Yeah, that's what
I
I've
can
learned.
afford 150 square foot shack there.
I believe it.
Now, next, we're going to get into Ahmad Toffil's background. But before I do that, just so you know, with Dominic, things did not go well. Dominic found out he was conning him, and his family stepped in and helped him with the money to buy Robert out. He got rid of Robert.
Spoilers.
I I,
Jeez.
I know. I just had to tell you that because
Okay.
Christopher Creek, if there's any wine people on here, I just wanted to throw that out quick for you guys, okay? Just need to tell y'all that. Now, Imad Tophilis. So if Robert was chaos, Imad was calm. He was the type who paid attention, did his homework, and still someone who believed in people. Okay. His brother called him an angel on earth, and neighbors adored him. He ran marathons, and he had a Labrador named Maddie who went everywhere with him.
I love that. From everything I've read about him, he seems like the nicest guy.
Do you
Like
see where
the
he's at the film
nicest guy.
festival at?
Mm-hmm.
Austin Film
Boston.
Festival?
Love
Hey.
that.
So, Ahmad was originally from LA, but he lived in Los Gatos, California. He was a seasoned finance and accounting professional in Silicon Valley. He was recognized for his financial expertise in the Bay Area as well. He served as a controller at Brooktrout, which is an office technology firm. But guys, he grew tired of corporate life and decided he wanted to invest his time and money into his two passions. And let me tell you, his passions were expensive: film and wine. I mean,
Yes.
can't get, yeah, more than that. Now, his first investment venture was to back an indie comedy film, Jimmy Westwood American Hero.
Oh boy.
How did I do there?
That's good. Okay. Oh, look at that. I love
I
that.
know. That is just hilarious. So it is a movie described as using raunchy humor to jab at American prejudices towards the Middle East in the style of Borat. And guess what, guys? He had a cameo.
That sounds amazing. I definitely want to watch that. I mean, it certainly sounds interesting, but it's no Lamageddon, which is a real movie, by the way. Mm-hmm. It is. It's don't watch it. It's so bad.
Okay. Now, not only did he invest 200,000, but he was also credited as a wedding guest in the film. Okay. When director and screenwriter Jonathan Kesselman was asked what kind of actor Imad was, he laughed and he said he was a better humanitarian than an actor. Same
I
thing they
mean,
would say about me, I hope. But during the movie shoot, Imad and Jonathan spent more time together and they became very friendly. He even invited the new film director and his wife to the very fancy home he owned near Napa Valley. He was a kind and welcoming host, and he let them stay in his own bedroom
wow.
instead of the guest room. That is a great guest. Okay. That's a great guest. Now, he was a very liked person in the tech world. And here's what Jonathan said. He was like a business person in tech, and I think he was excited to not be a corporate guy anymore. He had made a lot of money and
Hmm.
he was tired of it and sort of wanted to explore other things in his life, things that he had a passion for.
Oh,
Don't we all want to get there?
yeah.
Yeah. Now, in 2011, Imad met Robert Dahl, and the two quickly shared their aspirations of making it big in the wine business. In 2012, Robert pitched him the idea for the Patio Wine Company, an off label wine business. Now, Imad initially invested a few $100,000. Now, in 2013, Robert told him he could get a better deal on bulk grapes with cash. So, guys, like he would be like buying bootleg Bordeaux at a back alley farmer's market. Okay.
Okay.
Now, that is when Imad decided to make the big jump with both feet and get into business with Robert Dahl. Now, he is the one who showed up with a big red Adidas duffel bag filled with $800,000 in cash and handed it to Robert.
Oh
Now,
my God.
I know. Look at that. Now, didn't P. Diddy walk around with a duffel bag full of cash too?
A fanny pack. Oh, look, there's your bestie.
There's the bestie.
Hey, bestie.
I've
He used a fanny pack full of cash and drugs.
Okay. Now, Robert took several pictures of the duffel bag and money, and he would show it and tell everyone that he met about it.
I mean, I'm not going to judge him too hard because I would probably spread it all over my bed and roll in it and take all the shots of that much. I mean, who wouldn't? Let's be honest. Don't act like you're better than us. You're not. Okay. Because that is a ridiculous amount of doll hairs. And that one's for you, Sammy Sunshine.
Is that for
That one's for you.
Sammy?
That is. I worked your doll hairs into that. But yeah, wow.
Wasn't there a movie with Demi Moore? I know our Buffy's not here, where there was money all over the bed and she rolled in it or something.
Was that in her was that the stripper one?
That or it was the one where the guy offered her money for one night and she was married or with somebody.
I don't know. Is that ringing a bell?
Guys, I'm drinking and I've had pain meds. I could be totally wrong, so we're just gonna move on.
We'll just keep going.
Yeah. Now, Imad's investment was over $1.2 million, and it would now help launch Dahl Vineyards.
Mhm.
Now, things seem to be going very well and very fast. Okay. So much that it seemed Robert had a bit of the Midas touch, and he was able to pay back some of Imad's initial investment. Imad finally got to make his wine business dream come true, and Robert, backed with all of Imad's cash, was on his way to being the big man in Napa.
Mhm.
I mean, it is a nice classic. The proposal. Thank you, Bells. I'm not
Indecent proposal.
indecent proposal. Hey, at
Yeah,
least
show
I'm
that.
not totally crazy. So, in return for his investment, Imad got 97.5% of the company's stock and the assets. Now, the agreement was clean, but the business was not. And I'm going to
Mm,
just say, someone's offering you 97.5% of the business.
that's wild.
That's not going to happen.
That is wild. That is wild. So, you guys, at this point in 2013, Robert was still a co-owner of the Christopher Creek Winery with Dominic Fabioli, and Robert and Imad were now running Dahl Winery. Well, then Robert was introduced to construction developer Greg Niddle and his wife Francine, who was an artist. Now, Robert persuaded Greg to invest in a new brew pub called Napa Point Brewery. Like, this guy doesn't have enough going on, but here we are. Look at that. There's Robert and Greg and that lovely, very nice brewery. In an interview, Greg Niddle said that Robert was very charismatic. He could dazzle a room like no one I had ever seen. I mean, even, excuse me, pardon me, I've been on all day, you guys. My voice is a little rusty today. I apologize. Even Greg's wife, Francine, said he exuded confidence. Oh my gosh, did he exude confidence? Like, I'm telling you, like nobody I've ever met before in my life, which seems to be what everyone's saying about him. Both saw Robert as an outgoing, charming, hardworking guy, and there was no hesitation from the couple to go into business with Robert. Greg was a good business partner to have, as it was his construction company that built the brewery. And just a few months later, in October 2013, the Napa Point Brewing Pub opened its doors. I mean, why wouldn't they? Everybody's in business with this guy. You don't want to mess out. It makes sense, right?
And a lot of the husbands don't drink wine, and a brew pub is exactly where they want to go.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it's a good business
It's
plan.
a good idea, but we'll see how it goes. When Greg was asked about what Robert promised him and his wife, he said, well, that we were going to have a reputable business that we would hand off to our kids. That sounds like a great thing to do, right? Greg
Mhm.
and Francine became very close friends with Robert and his wife, Janelle. Francine reminisced about a motorcycle ride she had taken with Robert. Okay. One time, I don't know how I ended up on the back of Robert's motorcycle, and he pointed out this mansion that's right off the Silverado Trail. And he looked back at me and he said, you know what? Greg and I are going to make so much money that he's going to be able to buy a house like this for you someday. What a smooth talker, right? That's the house. Oh my gosh, that's like
Um,
my dream house. Ooh,
is
think of all the
it?
reading nooks. Yes.
The reading
Yes.
nooks?
I'm an old.
If we would just cut the very top spire off, unless you can actually go up there and it's a lookout, but a lot of times you don't have stairs to go up there. As long as you have stairs and can go up there, it's perfect.
Well, I would build stairs if I had money for that
Okay.
house. I'm building stairs. I got
Okay.
stair money, Terry.
Okay,
In
if you
this
got
fantasy
stairs
land, I
money,
got
then
stair
let's
money.
go. Because you would need to have a nook so you could just sit and cuddle up and read.
Yes, everywhere, all over the house. Anyway, out of Llama's fantasy world here. So, for the first 3 to 4 months, the brewery was booming. They had an amazing brewmaster, and that mansion that Robert showed Francine seemed closer to reality than ever. The couple had noticed that Robert had an expensive lifestyle and that he never seemed quite satisfied with what he had. That's right, play the Hamilton song in your guys' head. I know some of you are thinking it. I'm not going to sing it because I don't sing. But they quoted they quoted the couple as saying he liked to live well. He couldn't live in a 3,000 square foot house. No, it had to be a 5,000 square foot house. He didn't have to have one brand new motorcycle. He had to have two brand new motorcycles. Whoever complains about living in a 3,000 square foot home is wild.
I mean,
That's like
unless you have
15 of
12
my
kids,
homes.
I mean, other than that, 3,000 square feet should be plenty, in my opinion.
I guess. All right. So that's where Greg and Francine are.
Well, now, like you said, Robert has at least 3 different businesses going, and at some point oh, the bubbles are making me burpy, sorry. His first business partner, Dominic Fapelli, was starting to have some serious questions. You see, Dominic was actually the one running the Christopher Creek Winery this whole time while Robert was running the books.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I know. Dominic got a phone call from their lender telling him that they were going to start the foreclosure proceedings on them because they apparently had missed their first payment for the winery. Guys, Dominic put up his hat. Oh, it just breaks my heart.
It's gonna
So
get so bad, you guys.
I know. So Dominic called Robert and he said, hey, you shouldn't be worried about that. I've got all of that covered. Trust me, bro.
Mm, yes.
Yeah. Dominic was pissed. Both his reputation and life savings were on the line. The business was doing very well. They had been selling a bunch of wine, but there somehow wasn't enough money to keep paying the bills. And he was like wondering where was the money going? Guys, it's a question that many others would soon be asking as well. Dominic knew that he had to get rid of Robert and had to go to his family members for help. Yes, I spoiled earlier. He said, "So my family and my partners, my brother and my best friends came around and said, 'We will do whatever we need to do and let's get this guy out.'" Dominic did end up getting control of the vineyard, but guys, he had to pay Robert to step away from it. Quote, I introduced him as my partner and my friend, so I brought him into that circle of trust that we have here. Everybody welcomed him with open arms because I vouched for him. I had never been burned before.
Mm.
I was so naive. So, guys, just so you know, most of Napa Valley, born, raised there, they give it to the kids. I mean, everybody. So for somebody to vouch for you from a family like that, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Now, Dominic wasn't the only person swindled by Robert since he had arrived in Napa. There was also a winemaker by the name of Steve Birch, who had worked with Robert and had introduced him to a few celebrities who were interested in getting into the wine business. Now, Robert soon got into deals with comic and TV personality Adam Carolla, bottling
Oh, yeah, that guy.
sangria,
I've heard his name in like
bottling
15 years. It's wild.
bottling sangria called Mangria.
God, of course. If you know, you
Mangria?
know. Yeah, Mangria. You remember that
Now,
stupid show at Spike TV?
uh-huh,
Yeah.
as well as the rapper E40, who, guys, I had never heard of.
No, I don't know what that is. At least not
Okay,
off
I'm like,
my head. Maybe if I Google them, I'd probably be like, oh, that.
yeah.
I feel like I do know him, but I don't know why. Anyway,
Robert
so
packaged some wines for his label, Earl Stevens Wines. Both products did very well, but neither of these celebrities were ever paid for their fair share. Even Steve Birch left with Robert still owing him over $10,000. Now, Steve said in an interview, no one that ever put money into something Robert was doing was ever going to get anything back. Now, even Robert's electrician, Miles Davis, said that Robert owed him $15,000. Davis still ended up
sorry.
being friends with Robert despite that. He said, "I'm fine with that. I mean, it wasn't about the money. It was about, there were concerns that he was in trouble. So I didn't feel like my little $15,000 was anything to worry about."
I don't
What?
even. I don't even know what that means. I can't. My brain can comprehend it. Being like, what do you mean $15,000? Doesn't matter to you. Like
I know,
what?
I'm like, ha
Like I'm all for helping my friends, but damn. Does
15
Miles Davis want to be friends with me? It'd be
I
great.
know.
I won't screw you over, Miles. It's fine. Just give me some starting cash. That'd be great. Oh my. Okay. Well, that takes us up to date with these celebrities. Very interesting. But let's get back to Greg and Francine Niddles, who we were just talking about, who partnered with Robert to start the brewing company. So, just a few short months after the brew pub doors opened, the excitement of this new adventure quickly faded away because, of course, it did. We wouldn't be here if it didn't, right?
Right.
Our favorite wine writer, Lou Purdue, has entered the chat. I mean, how fun is that name to say, you guys? It's fun to say. Try it. Everybody together. Lou Purdue, Lou Purdue. It's so fun. It just rolls off the tongue. Anyway, now Lou was beginning to suspect that Robert wasn't quite who he wanted everyone to believe him to be. Remember, Lou's a writer. Lou had a good friend who really liked craft beer and went to check out Robert's brewery. Turns out that the beer wasn't even made there. Nope. Robert was just buying kegs from someone else and passing it off as their own. Apparently, Lou Purdue's friend, look at that guy. So dramatic. Oh, there's so much about Lou Purdue. Anyway, excuse me. Apparently, Lou Purdue's friend confronted Robert about Keggate, and Robert went ballistic, quote, like he had been found out. Yeah, yeah, that's kind of what's happening here. So wistful in the Vatican, right, Gavin? We know why.
We
Maybe
know
I'll bring it
why.
up later. So by March 2014, this is what, 6 months after the brew
Mhm.
pub opened, the landlord filed a lawsuit against the brew pub over Robert not paying rent, which was scheduled to increase from $15,000 to $60,000 a month, which I don't even understand. I don't
So,
understand how that even happens, but
because they
okay.
did, you're just starting your business off. We'll do that. We'll put most of the money at the end of your lease. You can just pay a little bit as you're getting started. I mean, they still do gentleman handshakes in Napa.
That rent is what?
State. Yeah.
But okay. So Francine and Greg had no idea what Robert was up to at the brewery, and they were very shocked when Robert came to them one day and announced that he was shutting down the whole thing. That's right, because it wasn't making enough money. So the Napa Point Brewing Club closed its doors in May 2014. The Nettles not only lost $250,000 of their own money, they also had encouraged friends to invest as well. They felt personally betrayed by their supposed friend Robert Dahl, and the couple pressed criminal charges against Robert. Unfortunately, though, the Nettles would not be the last financial victim of Roberts. I don't know if anybody's keeping a tally over how much money we've even talked about, but it's insane already.
It's a
We're at what, like
lot.
$2 million at least.
Yeah. Now, at this point in 2014, Robert had stopped paying back the money that he borrowed from Ahmad. So Ahmad had hired former FBI agent turned personal investigator Don King. Now, the
Look
dog,
at her.
the
She's so cute.
shirt, the necklace, Dawn is the queen, and I love it. Okay. Just going to say, I love her. Now, and the truth about Robert's past began to come to light. She was able to hit the ground running because this wasn't the first time she'd been hired to look into Dahl's background. She discovered that Robert had a pile of liens against him, civil judgments from multiple companies adding up to almost 200,000. Basically, guys, Robert wasn't paying any bills and was charging everything on credit cards.
Ruh-roh.
And there was a long list of lawsuits against him. Now, I'm going to say that when you're starting a business, a lot of times people will charge up their credit cards, but we got to remember this guy was getting investment money. He got an Adidas bag of $800,000, right?
Right.
Yeah. Now, a lot of what Don King had previously discovered about Robert had happened back in Minnesota. Now, remember the buyers who bought his Minnesota business, Durberry? Why are you laughing at my Minnesota?
I mean, why not?
I've never been to Minnesota. Okay.
Oh, you're funny.
But they had
Oh.
actually sued Robert for selling them a company that they claimed manufactured a useless product. Now, the
Ooh, I
case
think
was
we only got
settled
5 minutes
behind
left.
closed doors. Okay. Robert and his wife filed for personal bankruptcy in 1997. Okay.
So this guy's not good with money
He's not good with
at
money.
all.
No.
At all.
Now, if all of the financial problems weren't enough, she also found out that Robert had a criminal past as well.
Mm.
hmm Robert had been convicted of theft by swindle not once, but twice back in the late 80s, early 90s. He even spent time in prison for them. He was a convicted felon.
Mm-mm. So I don't think I've ever heard of a theft by swindle charge before. It sounds very old timey, and I am obsessed with it.
All I thought of was it made me think of the Tinder swindler because I had never heard of it either.
I think this week I definitely added the word swindle into as many conversations as I can, as swooning as well. So there's
Sammy
your word of the
said
day.
it's a Pomeranian and they are so cute but hyper. We have a Chia Pom, which is half Chihuahua, half Pomeranian.
Oh.
They're obnoxious. Now, are you ready for this? The cherry on top of this bad Mangaria was that the entity Ahmad had invested $1.2 million in was actually defunct, and Robert was
Mm.
using the funds on a different winery.
Oh.
I mean, Robert was using multiple LLCs to move money around and to hide his cons. And Maud was very angry and wanted his money back. But Robert, as we can all guess, was being anything but cooperative.
Go figure. Shocked Pikachu over here. Now, unfortunately for Robert, Don King wasn't the only one looking into Robert and his swindling. See, guys, it's a fun word.
It
The
is.
wine writer legend himself, Lil Purdue, decided to spill all the tea on his blog for everyone to see, like the messy queen he was. So Robert was not happy about having his dirty laundry aired all over the internet in Napa Valley. And so he did what no one should do, and he took his frustrations to the comments section, where he would rant paragraph by paragraph by paragraph. And yes, much of it was in all caps, so you know exactly how unhinged Robert was about all of this. Lou Purdue even printed out all of Robert's rantings, which he measured to be about 26 feet.
I mean,
Look at that. Look at that. Oh
that's
boy,
a lot, guys. That's a lot.
it is a lot. Robert's world was crashing down all around him, and it was crashing fast and hard. Oh boy, I don't think this is going to go well.
And that is not what she said. So, with everything coming out about Robert,
That's a
Imad was
CVS
furious.
receipt.
What?
Sorry.
That's a
Lady
CVS.
that's a CVS receipt.
That is so a CVS receipt.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
great.
Go ahead. That was a
No,
good
but
comment.
Ahmad was furious with seeing all of this. He may had seemed like a passive guy, but guys, he was not going to let someone like Robert take advantage of him. Okay. He'd put all of his life savings into this venture. Now, Ahmad's attorney, David Wiseblood, I mean, guys, everyone has really cool names in this.
They
Lou
do.
Purdue, David Wiseblood. I mean,
Don King,
John King,
Miles
yeah.
Davis. I mean, literally a whole cast. It's amazing. Anyway.
Now, Imad had this to say to David. Imad came to me saying, I have this problem. So I looked at it and said, yeah, you have a problem. So we devised a strategy. So
Okay.
the strategy was basically to file a lawsuit in Napa against Robert to get control of the collateral and to prevent stuff from disappearing. Okay. I mean, vats of wine and stuff. I mean, that's a lot of money. And the vines. And after 19 court hearings in 4 months, which guys, that's a long time to be in court. Okay.
That's a lot.
I mean,
That's once a week.
19
More than
hearings
that.
in 4 months.
Mhm.
Now, because I doubt they were like Bev. They weren't doing half days and all these breaks.
These were
Okay.
just hearings. They hadn't even went to
I
trial.
know.
Like, oh
So
my gosh.
a judge granted the injunction prohibiting Robert from selling any inventory, which, guys, in theory, should have shut down his winemaking and selling businesses. But to no one's surprise, Robert didn't take that too seriously. And he was secretly taking and hiding equipment and trying to sell it all off. Guys, those barrels hold a lot of wine.
Oh, I bet.
I mean, just the barrels themselves are thousands of dollars. Okay. Now, Robert hired attorneys Jasmine Duell and Kosha Barakum, and they filed a counter lawsuit against Ahmad because that's what attorneys do, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And now, you guys, we all know that lawyers are going to lawyer and do their best to curate a better image for their client. But what they had to say about him in an interview after all of this made me roll my eyes so hard. I was like, how am I going to pry these out of the back of my skull? Because this is ridiculous. Okay, this is after everything we're going to talk tonight happened, is when they gave this interview. Okay. So they claim that there's a lot more than what the headline said about their former client. They said Robert was a clever businessman, but was in no way a crook. Okay.
Okay.
Sure, Jan. They claim that they believe he had every intention to pay back the entire loan to Ahmad. Okay, Amber Heard. And then he was a stand up guy, that he was just your classic all American risk taking entrepreneur who puts it all on the line and at the last minute comes out a hero. Are we even talking about the same person here? Because that is not what happens. Okay. It's not what happens at all. But okay. While they admit that Robert had his fair share of failed business ventures before, this business with Imad was growing and wasn't some elaborate Ponzi scheme or a house of cards. Okay. All right. My personal favorite quote was from his attorney, Kusha Baracum, comes after he is asked, but don't you think that proves that he's a thief? And somehow, with what I'm assuming had to be with a straight face, he said, quote, not at all. A thief takes money and runs with it. A thief doesn't go to court. What?
I'm sorry. That
What?
just that is something I almost could hear Brennan or Kyle attorney
What?
say.
Okay. Okay. That's some
In
spin
that
you're doing, but what?
photo, could you unsquint your eyes? Just unsquint your eyes.
Sir, I mean, I know they got to do their job. I get it. But like, sir, come on. That's egregious to say.
See, Kelly P agrees. Is he from
Yes.
Houston? He's bald.
Love that. So, you guys, he also goes on to say, quote, he was a risk taker. And when you take risks, sometimes you end up harming other people as well. But our system is set up for that. What? Okay, sir. Okay. Okay.
Now,
All right.
the interesting thing I want you to look at on his card, attorney at law, Beverly Hills, California Employment Law Group, employment and labor and personal injury. Nowhere does he do corporate law for partnerships. Anybody notice that? He's an attorney who gets
Interesting.
paid probably on a contingency fee and only gets paid if they win.
Sorry, it's train time.
So I noticed that and I was like, yeah, no. Now, according to Robert's lawyers in the wine business, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Guess what, attorneys? That's any business. I don't know why you think it's
Mhm.
just the wine business. Okay. So, and they also insisted that Ahmad was actually the real villain in this bad business deal, that he was so angry that he was determined to destroy Robert's business. They were asked if he thought this was a scam for Ahmad, and Kusha said, absolutely. How would one come up with that much cash and why? It's his life savings.
Right.
And he thought you were going to get the grapes cheaper. Guys, they do have a market in Napa where you can go buy grapes that the winery doesn't
Oh
use.
yeah, and they want cash because
Exactly, they
you
want the
know
big
Uncle
bucks. Yeah,
Sam doesn't know about it.
yeah. Now, they also implied that it was Imad's fault.
Ugh.
And guys, I have a problem with victim blaming.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't,
Because
okay?
this was all said after
After.
after how we're gonna finish the story is what
Mhm.
these guys had to say. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Now, like I said, they implied it was Ahmad's fault. Robert couldn't pay him or anyone else back thanks to the court's injunctions on him. So it's
Okay.
Ahmad's fault for finding out that the winery's defunct, guys. Remember,
How
the winery's
dare he?
defunct.
How dare he?
Now, Robert's other attorney, Jasmine Duell, said his barrels of wine were taken, his cars were taken, his brewing systems were taken. He was in
No,
an impossible place.
no. So
Guys,
sad.
just hold on. Let me get out my little tiny violin here. Girl. Okay, girl. Now, in early of March 2015, a surprise to almost everyone, it seemed there was a breakthrough in the lawsuit. The lawyers had come to a deal, and it looked like Imad would get at least some of his money back. Guys, just so you know, in a situation like this, attorneys say if both parties are unhappy, it's a good deal.
That is true.
Okay. So they were, it's not like they were happy, but they made a deal. But instead of going to any of the law offices, Robert told Ahmad to meet him at Dahl's vineyard. Robert insisted on settling in person. Now, Ahmad's lawyer, David Weisblood, begged him not to go, but Ahmad said he was going anyway. Guys, look how beautiful that is.
It's so beautiful. Ugh. All right, all right. I guess I'll get to this part. So on March 16th, 2015, they met. Ahmad brought Maddie. Robert didn't hug. He didn't smile. And there was tension. Legal teams were on speakerphone. Ahmad's attorney, David Weisblood, said there was a definite agreement on what was going to be paid to Ahmad. It was just so eerily calm. But of course, Robert, being a super stable individual, decided to nope out and said, quote, I don't give a shit what the lawyers negotiated. This is my offer, end quote, which was basically 50% less than what was agreed to. But a real stand up guy, as his lawyers like to refer to him, right? What a stand up guy. So Ahmad responded, it wasn't the lawyers who came up with these numbers, it was us. And I'm not here to renegotiate. Robert did not like that.
Mm-mm.
Things were heated, and the attorneys suggested a short break in the negotiations to calm down. Now, Wiseblood expected to hear from Ahmad in 5 minutes or so, and he waited for his client to call him back. But that never happened. So after numerous unanswered phone calls, Mr. Wiseblood got an email saying there was a shooting at the vineyard. He emailed Robert's attorneys to find out if it was true. And they didn't know what had happened either, but thought to themselves that maybe Ahmad had lost it. It turns out that once the lawyers were off the phone, Robert presented Ahmad with a new settlement agreement, which apparently read more like a manifesto. It accused Ahmad of trying to ruin his life, demanding Ahmad admit the whole lawsuit was personal, a vendetta, and that Robert owed Ahmad nothing. Robert demanded that he sign it right then and there. And Ahmad, of course, would never sign it. So Robert grabbed a gun and shot him. The two men came tumbling out of the barn. Ahmad ran through the vines, dodging bullets. Robert was hunting him through the vineyard with his silencer-equipped .22 caliber semi-automatic pistol. Ahmad was able to call 911 during the chase, saying, "He shot me. He's coming after me in his truck." Robert must have known he wasn't going to be able to catch him on foot. Remember how Ahmad ran marathons? And we've seen Robert. He probably wasn't catching him on foot. Okay. So he turned around and hopped into his black SUV with his gun in his hands. He was most likely hoping to cut Ahmad off if he ran out onto the road. So Ahmad stayed on the phone with the 911 dispatcher, who already sent deputies to the scene. Ahmad made it to the road just in time to see the cruisers approaching the vineyard, and they saw him. He thought he was safe, but unfortunately, Robert had caught up. He got out of his car, stood over a very wounded Ahmad, and shot him point blank in the head. Robert then.
This guy.
No, this guy. Robert then got back into his SUV and took off from the scene as police chased him for about 10 miles away from the crime scene. The deputies had seen him kill Ahmad. Much of Napa Valley knew about his bad business dealings, that there were lawsuits and debt collectors everywhere. And I imagine at this point, Robert knew it was game over. There was no way he was going to be able to swindle and weasel his way out of this one. And as the police were closing in on him, he shot himself in the head and died. So close.
Coward.
So close. Ahmad was so close.
Oh,
Pissed me off. Sorry.
I know, and I agree with Lady in Gray. Why a silencer? Very legal, first of all, but why a silencer? Now, no one knows the extent of what Robert had planned for that day, but there was some evidence that Robert may have been ready to kill more people than just Ahmad. Okay. In Robert's car, they found what police called a murder kit, which had gloves, zip ties, bleach, burner phones, a hazmat suit, and a list of other people Robert wanted to kill. Jeez. He felt that people on the list had set out to ruin him and his reputation. This guy cannot take any accountability, okay? Let's just say he cannot take any accountability, okay? Now, they also found over 700 rounds of ammunition. Okay? That's a lot of flippin'. What is
and
that?
A bag of green. That's a bag
I
of
was say,
green.
is that a
That is
bag of
exactly what you think
weed?
it is. Yeah, that's exactly what you think it is.
Okay, that's a little bag of Mary Jane. Okay. Now, Robert was a convicted felon, guys, which means he should not be in possession of a gun. He is not allowed to own a gun or be in possession. Now, during the autopsy, it was discovered that Ahmad was shot 5 times, including a final kill shot to the head. Now, just a few days after the murder-suicide, Dahl Vineyard's tasting room was padlocked and an eviction notice was taped to the door due to a long list of alleged lease violations. Guys, those poor vines, they were so traumatized. Now, Robert's last failures and the devastating legacy he left behind. Now, in April of 2015, another Napa-based grower sued Robert's estate and the defunct winery to recover over $35,000 owed to them for grapes that Robert had purchased. Now, guys, what is interesting about this lawsuit is that neither Robert or any of his wineries had a processing license, guys, which mean he couldn't use the grapes to make anything.
Wow.
So Trust me, bro, handshake deal. You just sell grapes to somebody because you like them. They've got charisma. He's not even legally allowed to do anything with the grapes. Okay.
Oh, this guy. Mm.
Now, the courts in May appointed a managing receiver to manage the affairs and assets for the litigation against Robert Dahl, the winery, and the brewery. Also in May, Imad Tawfila's family filed a wrongful death suit, and Robert's wife and kids, they got out of Napa, which was probably smart for them, and moved back to Minnesota.
Did you see who his wife married? I don't think we included this in the story. So his
I
wife, by the way, married Miles Davis from earlier in the
from
story.
earlier.
His electrician that he owed 15 grand to, I guess him and the missus got married. So some tea for you guys. Now,
I mean, he came over to collect some money he was owed. They had some tea. They hit it off.
I don't know. I don't know. So you guys,
Captain's more worried about Ahmad shooting you? Captain, really? Come on now. Look at that
So,
table, though. Look.
mhm,
Oh,
yeah. If he hadn't been able to run away and call 911, would Ahmad have been Robert's only target? Many people involved with Robert feared that they could have easily ended up on Robert's kill list that day. The PI Don King, lawyer David Westblood, former business partner Greg Middle, and yes, Lama's boyfriend, writer Lou Perdue, all wondered if things had gone differently, if they would have been next.
if you
And
married Purdue, you would be Llama Purdue.
I don't know how Opafeet would feel about that, but maybe. We'll
Sorry
see what
about
we can work out. I mean, Lou Perdue I do like older gentlemen, but he's a little older. But
we could
you
make
know
it
what?
work.
We'll keep our options open. Who am I? Anyway, so Dominic Fopley, remember him, was worried that Robert could have come after him as well. Dominic had actually tried to warn Ahmad and give him a heads up that he was having all sorts of problems with Robert. When asked how he heard about the murder suicide, Dominic said, "Somebody pulled up their phone and they showed me the article of what happened. I was just in shock, and immediately and honestly, I started crying, and it was a mix of guilt because I guess I didn't do enough to warn Ahmad about him." That's sad. But before you go feeling too sad,
Don't
hold
feel too
on.
sad.
So Dominic Fabioli, whatever his name is, the Prince of Napa, went on to become the mayor of Windsor, California from December 2018 to May of 2021. He was running for another office, but all of that was put on hold when he, I think it went this way, was charged with multiple sexual assaults against 9 different women. Look at him with his stupid hat, his stupid bow tie, his stupid sash. Look at that guy.
I mean,
Anyway, so there is that because the story wasn't messy enough already.
and his family was a big deal in the valley.
Yeah, there's stupid face. Anyway, so director Jonathan Kesselman, who directed the movie that Ahmad had, financed, spoke about Ahmad. Quote, "He was a really sweet, kind, and generous guy. And I just felt I needed to say that so it's on the record.
Can I just
There's some legacy of Ahmad where, he was remembered. He was a good person."
I'm sorry, I'm reading these signs.
I don't get those signs.
Rape makes sour grapes. In other words,
Yeah.
mayor your own body. You're not a good listener. No, I can't. Okay.
Yeah. I don't. Anyway, Ahmad was the best of us. Look at him. He looks like such a nice guy.
He does. Look at him.
He deserved a patio with a view, a bottle he helped create, and his dog Maggie asleep at his feet. Instead, he got a monster in a wine cave who ended his life too early. We also need to remember Robert's children, who are sadly also victims in this horrific tale. I couldn't imagine living in the shadow that Robert put over everyone. Oh, that guy. So I would like to end the story reading a short quote that Robert had told the landlord when he was applying to lease the property in 2013. Not only did Robert tell him that he was earning millions, he also said, quote, I have made mistakes in my life, and I always take responsibility for them and make them right. I pride myself on doing what I say I do and believe that a man is only as good as his word. End quote. Mm.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that is the end of that story. Terry, what closing thoughts do you have about
I'm going to just say,
this?
if you made it this far and your glass isn't empty, you've got better restraint than I did, because writing this case got to me because I love Napa. When we moved to California, our goal was to retire in Yountville, there in the valley. And the people are so kind, down to earth. They are lovely people. And to think that somebody like him came in and did this, it's not just about the wine or the fraud. It's about the trust that people gave him. They trusted him. And let's think about it. Ahmad was the real deal. He was smart. He was kind. He was thoughtful. And guys, he ended up the center of a nightmare because someone else refused to take responsibility. And guys, like I said, this took place in my happy place. And when I go to Napa, you can just breathe there. Everywhere you turn, it's beautiful. You don't turn one direction and say, oh, that's ugly. Everywhere is beautiful. So this is just a reminder that sometimes evil shows up, even with a vineyard view, and still they're horrible. So I just want people to take away from this. Don't be afraid to ask the hard questions, even if it feels awkward. Look past their charm, Google their name, trust your gut, because you should have done a little bit more. I'm not blaming anybody, but you've got to check people out. And I want to say to Ahmad's family, I see your heartbreak. And I hope telling this story helps more people remember who he was. He was truly an angel on earth, and he was just trying to make something good. And I hope that his precious dog, Maddie, is taken care of.
I don't know. Yeah. Hold on just a second.
That would be the one and only Elbow Feet.
It was. It's okay. They've been so sweet all day. I've been on all day, and it's fine. So my closing thought is, I find that most people, myself included, think they're impervious because they're too smart or they can read people, and that they would never fall for a scammer, a con man, or a swindler. And I'm sure everyone in this story thought that too. But people like this have been around for millennia. And honestly, I think with the internet, it's gotten so much worse, actually. You think it'd be easier to find stuff out about people, but I don't think so. I think it's very difficult. And, I'm not saying to stop trusting people and think they're out to get you. No. Stay vigilant. Do some research. If the deal sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And last but not least, actions speak louder than words. anyone can spew some bullshit, okay? But do they deliver? That's what you need to keep an eye out on. Look at their actions, not their words, because that's how con men work. And maybe tonight, after we're all done here, in memory of Ahmad, maybe you can go and watch Jimmy Bestwood, American Hero. Because just because he's gone doesn't mean that his dreams can't still come true. So that's my farewell for this evening.
Yeah, well,
I'm probably going to try to find it to watch it.
and I want to give a little tidbit. If you've never been to Napa, if you go to the Francis Ford Coppola Winery, it used to be the Inglebrook Winery, and then Coppola bought it. They actually have stuff from The Godfather. They have the car from The Godfather. They actually have
Wow.
memorabilia in the winery that you can walk through.
I love that. That's
So,
very cool.
if you don't drink, Napa is a beautiful place. Okay. Now, guys, next week, once again, this is former producer Llama's case. And how did a quiet teen become a face-eating killer? Really?
Mhm. Yeah.
The
I mean,
Austin Harif
I think it's Hera.
Harif case
Mhm.
is next Thursday on June 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central.
Yes.
And I'm not going to say I'm looking forward to it.
Well, if anyone might think they know what this case is about or think they know the story, you may not. You may be very surprised in what you've heard and what the actual truth of the situation is.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to talk about it.
And I want to give a shout out to our team. The pictures on our thumbnails. I mean, how many hours do they sit there and look at videos to find the perfect eye rolls, mouth open? I mean, just gonna
Oh, I
say.
imagine. I know. I've been in Amy's cat cut. It's just videos after videos of my face all over, and I'm like, I think you're kind of obsessed with me.
Kelly P,
Yeah.
we are planning to go to Napa for our anniversary in August since we didn't get to celebrate our 20 year. I think we're going to do our 21 year there. I will be sure to go live and
Mhm.
share pictures. I mean, when I say I love Napa, one of my dogs, Miss Maddie, who was a teacup Yorkie, her ashes are spread at St. Supri Vineyard on the
Aw,
Sauvignon Blanc grapes. They let us do that. She even had her own bandana for them.
that's so
The
cute.
people there are amazing. Okay. Now,
Mhm.
guys, if you have a suggestion for a case, you can email us, or I don't know if the mods have the link yet.
Yes, they do.
Do they? Okay, because
Mhm.
I'm a little behind, but you can send us your case suggestions. Guys,
Mhm.
we are building out right now everything through the end of the year.
Yeah.
Okay. Cap'n, when we say Napa, Sonoma, Yountville, it's all the same. Just so you know.
Watch out. That's where the Scythians were.
Okay, as long as I don't run into anyone in a box truck, I'm good. Okay.
Yeah, feel free to add your suggestions to our little form. Make sure you include your YouTube handle as opposed to your real name if it's different, so that way we don't dox you. But we also want to give credit to fans that suggest cases to us. So you can find it there. Now, if you're listening on the pod, you can send your case suggestions, though, to me, Llama, at Tara, Tara, at tcwtmedia.com if you're on the pod, or put Amy at tcwtmedia.com or Terry at any one of us. We're all sharing the same thing. So if you're listening right now, send us your suggestions, okay? But write that down later, not while you're driving, okay?
Yes, don't do that while you're driving. Now, if you don't know, if you're new here, I host Midday Missing every Monday and Wednesday, where we cover missing person cases that do not get the attention that they deserve. So come on over at your lunchtime, hang out with us 30, 40 minutes and help us get the word out and help these families. And then
Mhm.
Lama, tell us about your show.
Oh, which one? I've done all three today. No, so in the mornings at 8:30 a.m. Eastern, I am live right here on our True Crime and Wine Time channel, where we are currently watching the Karen Reed trial live together. We have an amazing chat that's in there. Come say hi to us. They are so much fun and so kind. Anyway, we're getting ready to finish up Karen Reed in like the next 2 weeks. So come there. I think our next trial might be Lori Bello representing herself, but we'll see. We'll see. So I do that during the day, and then I do Couch Court with Llama after dark, where I've been covering the Sean Diddy Combs trial. And oh boy, is that something. Even today was something. Every day is wild there.
Yeah.
So
I'm
that's what
glad
I
it's
do.
you. I'm glad it's you and not me. It's all I can say. I can
And
just
then
say I'm so glad it's you.
today I had an interview for
I saw
Couch
that.
Confessions with Llama, who was Raindrops and Feathers, who's actually just one of our viewers on Couch Court with Llama. And she came on and she told me she worked in loss prevention, and it was such a cool interview. She is so cool. I can't wait for her to come on again. I know she has more stories to tell, but we talked about that, what it's like to testify in court because she's had to do that. And she lives in the Boston area. So we did talk about Karen Reed. Recommend, if you guys haven't watched yet, go check it out on our channel. It just happened at 4 o'clock today, and give her some love. I really hope she comes on again. She's super cool. So that's what
She
I've
is
been doing.
very cool. Now, you can follow us on social media. You can find us at True Crime and Wine Time, Terry True Crime, and TCWT Media. We're basically out there, okay? You can find us. Now, let's wrap up. And Lama, to you, I want to say thank you for agreeing
Mhm.
to come on this crazy journey.
Oh,
Um, it's a lot, especially with all of your court stuff, but I think it's gonna be fabulous, and it's gonna be fun, and to everybody else, I wanna say thank you, lovelies, for joining us for this crazy ride, and guys, keep your wine chilled, your friends close, do background checks, okay?
mm.
Do background checks, and keep your enemies even closer,
That's true.
okay? But most importantly, after your wine is chilled, be sure to enjoy it.
I love that. Well, I want to thank you, Terry, for bringing me on as co-host. I want to thank the True Crime and Wine Time listeners of our podcast. I hope you accept me, and I look very much forward to all the stories we're going to cover. And I'm so proud and excited to be a part of this journey from here on out. And until then, as I always say, go forth and be amazing. So thank you guys very much. And chat, wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Thank you to the chat. Thank you to the lurkers. Thank you to the replay crew. And the most importantly, thank you to our staff who helps write,
Yes,
do the visuals, behind the scenes, running the show, modding. They do everything. It's a dream freaking team.
it is.
Okay. Dream freaking team. So thank you to everyone for all of that.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
and hopefully, if you're near Ohio, come see us in July. You will get to meet us in person, as well as some
Mhm.
of the team.
I love it.
So, take care, guys. See you soon.
All right. Bye.